Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am your host, Bianca Williams. Welcome to my podcast. If you're new here, thank you for joining. Like and subscribe because I am always sharing new things and I definitely want to be able to share this and other things with you. I know you guys are used to me being here with guests. Today is going to be just me because there is a special birthday edition where I'm going to talk to you a little bit about just some of the things that's come to me over the past year. And so I'm going to try to keep this one short and just tell you about where I'm at in my life and connect hopefully something to you. So um first and foremost, I would just like to say what brought me to wanting to do this episode because it is my birthday week. Like, I'm recording this in birthday week and I don't usually do that. I usually try to record a couple of weeks before, a couple of months before, that kind of thing. But the reason why I wanted to do this was because I was thinking about how, man, I am living the life that I want to live. Like, I could do whatever I want. And how did I get here? Right? Like, I wanted to be able to share that. And so when I say I can do whatever I want, I'm not saying anything illegal. I'm not saying I'm out here trying to hurt people. Nothing like that. I'm not rich. So I'm not saying that. If I want to go on a trip, for example, within a month or a couple of months, I can plan and make that a reality. That's like where my life is. Do what I want to do. I work from wherever I want to work from. I work in states I don't live in. I don't work for anybody. I work for myself. And so, that's what I mean when I say I can do whatever I want. I have a wonderful family, like supportive husband, kids, like I feel really good. I feel blessed. I think that sometimes when people share life is good, people feel like, man, good for you, but I'm kind of struggling over here, or like I'm not quite where I want to be yet. And I would say, first of all, I'm not either. I'm always, even though life is good, I'm always in this motion of how do I get to that grand more? And I enjoy the journey, right? So it's not to say I don't appreciate where I'm at in life, but it's to say I'm not, I'm not finished. I'm not done. I'm continuing to set goals. And as I explain this episode, I think you'll understand what I mean by that. Also, I think that when people say that, it can feel like a disconnect. It could feel like, well, your life is good and mine is it. We're not the same, right? We're not in the same place. Maybe you used to be here, but you're not here anymore. And I want to kind of share like my journey in that. Some of the key things I would say that I feel like are super important that stand out for me and where I'm at today. So the first thing that comes to mind is that for me, God is in everything. Like, everything that I do, God is in. I console with God before I make big decisions. I let things sit on my heart so that God can reveal things to me. I seek peace in the decision I made so I feel like I have clarity. I feel confident in moving forward in it. And so for me, life is like walking a yellow brick road. And as you take steps in that yellow brick road, you want to feel like, am I going in the right direction? And so God is kind of like paves that way for me. And I would say this, my journey with God has not always been like it is now. Like, there were times in my life, in my childhood, where things were happening and I grew up in the church. And so things were happening. I listened to what was taught. I am going to church every week. And sometimes it didn't feel like what was being taught to me was being lived up to by other people in the church. I'm not saying like judging people's personal lives or things like that. There were times where I was like in need, my family was in need, and I'm like, you guys are saying that this and that is going to happen, but it's not. As a matter of fact, you're saying no. So it just felt like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And I do understand that like people and God are not the same, but I just want to let you know that definitely as a young person had me questioning some things. And so where I'm at right now, I feel really good about my relationship with God because it's so personal, it's so deep, and we have had our ups and downs, right? And so I'm saying this from that place. With that being said, I think where things started for me was choosing what kind of person I wanted to be. Okay, so I'm gonna go back a little over 20 years ago. When I was young, I was fresh out of high school and I was trying to decide what I wanted to do in my life. And for me, leaving was the best for me. Like, I left my hometown and I love my family. Like, I love my family. Everybody knows this. But I feel like there's something inside of you that says when you need more, when you want more, when there's something else for you. And for me, that more was saying you need to leave. I didn't know why, and I didn't even have the resources to leave. Like it was hard, right? But I just felt it. And so my leaving was more of finding me, right? Like what's for me, what am I supposed to seek here? And so it reminded me a little bit of the journey of the alchemist when he had to go and find his magic and, be able to go into this foreign place where there's dangers and there's something in there for him that but he has to discover that, and it's not like something that he's going to be able to pick up off the ground or something. It's something that has to come from inside of him and connecting with everything around you. Like I feel like that I feel connected to that kind of message. Like when I left, I needed to find what was my connection to the world, my purpose, like what was the thing that was like yearning for me to go. So yeah. So you decide who you want to be, and what happens in that journey of the yellow brick road that I was mentioning is once you decide that, every step you take forward will be a representation of that. And the more steps you take forward, the more lives you live, the more years you live, the more experiences you have, you feel more solid in that person. And the reason why I have to preface it that way is because you'll be tested, you will be challenged, you will be put in situations in which, are you going to make the decisions of who this person who you determined you're going to be would do this? Would they do this? Would they not do that? Are you going to be able to like stand in that? And you're going to have to be clear on like who did I say I want to be, so that you can make your decisions in that favor. So that was super important to me. And looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, I definitely um, wanted to be happy, but through that, I wanted to help people. I wanted to have good relationships. I wanted to be respected. I wanted to, be able to forgive and not carry around anger, all of those kind of things. And at that time, I felt like I was such a mess. So being able to look back at that time and then say like, oh my gosh, you asked for this, you essentially manifested this, you operated in that space, and it's led to really rewarding things. That's literally where it starts. You have to determine who you're going to be. You attract things to you based on who you have determined you want to be, because that's the energy you present as. um Without going down the rabbit hole, right? Because I can talk more about that, but you attract things to you. You're always the common denominator for what's happening around you. Okay. So, another thing that I think is really helpful to understand in my journey of, just feeling like I can do what I want is having really solid support, right? Like my husband, I cannot explain to you how good it is to be with a person like my husband, the kind of support. And I would say I grew up feeling loved, by my mom and my stepfather and, my siblings in the home. I grew up feeling loved. I grew up seeing love between adults. I have never seen the kind of love me and my husband have with like two people in real life. And I'm really fortunate to have that, right? So, there are my husband fully supports me and allows me to explore all of my dreams and aspirations without making me feel guilty, without holding me back, with this constant, consistent support, unrelenting, going to make sure that I have what I need. Our children have what they need. We met at a time where we were both like growing and trying to, figure out what path we were on and be better people and all of that kind of stuff. And so we've been able to evolve together and come to these places together, and that's been super, super amazing. Um, when I say sometimes, oh, I want to do this, my husband, he might not get it. It's times where he's just like, yeah, I don't know. But he doesn't try to stop me. In fact, he just figures out, like if you need more time to do this, I'm going to make sure you have that time uninterrupted. Like he's super, super supportive in that way. And so I feel super fortunate. He also he considers things that I don't consider sometimes. Like I'll get in the work zone and forget to eat. And he's like, what you need, like you need somebody like that in your life that is going to just like kind of balance you out in a sense. Like the areas where you may be like, I'm very strong in these areas, but sometimes I'm not paying attention to these areas, and they're like, "Well, don't worry, I'm there. You're not by yourself in this. You have that support." And kind of remind you, that type of thing. So and challenge you and allow you to continue to grow and work on being a better version of you, and forgive you, and all of these different things. I feel very fortunate to have that very, very solid and consistent level of support and love. I have great friends. I love that where I'm at in my life, I attract people that represent where I'm at in my life. And so if you kind of questioning the people around you, I would say like look at who you are and look at like if you need to continue stepping forward. Because sometimes that stepping forward is we're growing apart from those people. And it's not to say that you don't like them or that it has to be a problem. You don't have to have hostility. You guys don't have to fall out, but continue to step forward on your yellow brick road. Everybody's paths are different, everybody's journey is different. I'm always in some type of growth journey, some type of healing journey, or helping somebody in theirs. But I don't let somebody else's journey hold me back because I still have a journey of my own to continue on. So make sure you're on your journey and you have clarity and you're forgiving people and you're releasing pain and you're embracing love and having gratitude because this is a no, but I don't think I ever talk about this, but when I first moved to California, I was really excited. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm moving to California. Did not like living here for the first year. Didn't like it. Didn't like it. But I don't present as that. It's not because I'm faking, like, there's something else than it is. Not that. It's that when I'm in any journey, I am seeking, like, what is the connection? What is the positivity? What am I grateful for here? And there was so much that even in that first year, I'm like, I was really grateful for these things. And I looked at that. I gravitated towards those things. But if I was to say in my heart, do I love it here? Like, no, this didn't feel like home for me. And so as time has passed, definitely it's warmed me up. But to share that, like, you're not gonna always be in the best place. You're not gonna always be having, you're not gonna always have good days. It's not gonna always be sunshine and rainbows and that kind of thing. So and that's okay. It's you can still have joy in your heart, still have peace, still have gratitude, and step forward in knowing that man, it's not great right now, but I'm okay, right? So, but attracting the right kind of people to you. All of the people that I've been able to connect with in California definitely match who Bianca is today. Are wonderful people, have their own businesses, are either in ministry or mental health or doing some type of like work in that area, self-care, making people laugh, making people happy. So my relationships here represent that through and through. These are solid people, and I am so fortunate to have been able to meet them. I came to California not knowing people, so especially in the Bay Area, like I literally knew no one up here, and so being able to connect with people from scratch based on just what I am and who I come as, and being able to attract to the right kind of people. I know the energies in that, God is in that, like all of those things that I mentioned. Who you are is who you're going to attract, type thing. So I fortunate. Additionally, letting life be an adventure. I would say that. So that's going to be my third point. So like my first point was deciding who you wanted to, who you want to be. My second point is having like really good support. Before I go on to the third point, I'm gonna also give a shout out to my family because my family and even some of my friends in different parts of the country, like they are always in my corner. They're like, Bianca, keep going. Bianca, we're proud of you. Bianca, like we love you. Like we want you to know that it is so important for people to hear that they are loved, to hear that they are supported because when you're going into new spaces, which I'm going to talk about next, you don't always get that. And it's not like you're going to get met and embraced warmly all the time. You still have to keep going forward. You still have to believe in yourself enough to say, like, I'm still going to do this. And so I really appreciate that I have all of the support I have, not just from my husband, but also from my friends, from my family, from the people who like are like, you know what? I see what you're doing, and I just want to let you know that, like, I'm proud of you. Keep going. So thank y'all. But yeah, for this third one, I would just say being able to embrace the unknown. That's the big one. Being able to embrace the unknown. And if you already understand how important it is to have God in everything you do, in you, then that's not going to be hard for you because when God is in things, you're safe, you're protected. Growing up, I didn't know I was going to be an entrepreneur, y'all. I didn't. I thought that I was going to, I was taught to go to school, get a good job, and get a career so you can take care of yourself. I didn't really know personally entrepreneurs. I'm not gonna say they weren't around me, they were, but they weren't like my mentors. They weren't the people that was pouring into me. I didn't have those kind of relationships, so I didn't really see that as a real thing for me. And so I'm like, okay, well, great, going to college is fine for me. I didn't see anything wrong with that. I didn't see myself as an entrepreneur. I didn't even ask for that. You talk about dreaming big and wanting all of these things for yourself. I mean, No, I prayed for my husband. Like I was like, I want a man with certain qualities. And then God was like, hey, you need a man with these qualities. So he really did his thing with this. So I'm like, there were some things I absolutely asked for. Being an entrepreneur was not something I asked for, but it's been one of the best journeys. It's so free to not have to work for anybody. But it's nothing wrong working for people. So I've gotten like to me being an entrepreneur is more rewarding because I work for people. I learned so much in those spaces. I think what I mean by embracing the unknown is that there are going to be things in your path that you are not going to be able to predict, dream, imagine for yourself, and it doesn't mean it's not for you. And so don't push it away. I will never forget, I was in a job interview at a time where I had been working really hard in my career. I had been in the field for a while, and I felt like, really qualified for this position. Everybody felt like I was the best person for it. And I went out for it. And during the interview, they asked this question. I'm going to mess this question up, but it was something to the extent of, um, if you don't get this position, will you still be a leader? It was a leadership position. And I was thinking, that's a strange question. Like, I didn't know what they were looking for with that answer, with how they wanted me to answer that. I didn't know what that was getting at. Like, I had no idea, like, what, if I'm applying for this position and I don't get it. And at the time, it wasn't like I was like looking at all these different jobs. I don't know, again, they could have been asking in that way, like, are you looking at other? But anyway, they just kind of asked it in a way like, if you don't get this, are you still going to be a leader? That's kind of how I took it anyway. And not knowing what they were looking for, the answer was very clear to me. I was like, well, absolutely, like 100%. And the reason why is because if I'm at a point where I'm ready for leadership, this job is not going to stop that. You know what I mean? Like whether I get this job or not, it's not going to stop that. It's in my path, and the doors that I need to open will open. Or better yet, I like the way Tyler Perry says it. He says he doesn't see doors, he sees mazes. It's like whatever route I need to be on to get to that, that will continue to become more clear to me, and God will continue to guide me in that direction. And so, long story short, because of some unforeseen circumstances that had nothing to do with me, absolutely nothing, it was like other people involved, all of that. I did not get that position. And in hindsight, it was really good. I didn't get that position, but I would say like maybe 10 months after that interview, I ended up starting my business. And how it happened was literally around the time of that interview, like people started speaking entrepreneurship to me. Like there were other entrepreneurs starting to talk to me and they were encouraging me. And it started with my mentor, and I love my mentor, and she gives me great wisdom. And so I was like, she was just saying like, you could do this. And then another friend said it, and then another friend. And so over the course of like that 10 months, I feel like when things just start to, just kind of show up in your orbit over and over again, I'm like, God, you bringing this to me for some reason. I guess I'm gonna pay attention. So I started taking notes, and I don't know if I'm gonna do it. I didn't make a decision at the time. I'm just like information gathering. And one day it just became really clear, like, no, you're gonna do this, Bianca, you're going to do this. And so about 10 months after that, I started building my private practice, and the next month I saw my first client. Like I went live and saw my first client. And it was scary, but that embrace the unknown, it ended up being really amazing, because it allowed me the creative and autonomous space to just be, just create, just do, like really a lot of freedom in how I work. And so at first I was just kind of working in a box that I put myself in. I'm not even gonna blame that on nobody. I put myself in this box. I'm like, this is what I gotta do, and this is the only way I can do it. And then as time went on, I started getting inspired. That's how I would say it. I got inspired. I would hear stuff, I would see things, and it felt like something in me was shaking. And it was like, girl, that's you. You got to do this. Like, you got to figure it out. And I was like, well, I don't have like thousands of dollars to learn this. And, because it's kind of what people might charge to teach some of these things. And so, but I figured it out. I just started creating. And the more I walk in my entrepreneurial space, the more I'm like getting more clear on how to plan, how to think. If you do it long enough, you're gonna think different because there's so much you're responsible for, and from just the day-to-day things, the tax things, the future things, there's so much responsible for, the relationships you gravitate towards. And so you're going to think different. And so I appreciate that because it allows me to see myself different. It allows me to see my capacity and how I do things different. It allows me to see my legacy different. Like I literally create all my own hours. I don't work, 5 days a week. I choose the days I want to. Sometimes I work on the weekends. I give myself self care very regularly throughout the week to where, like, I don't do anything. I just want to be. I allow myself to connect with other entrepreneurs and work on building with them, building with myself, being able to continue to be inspired, continue to set goals, continue to just work and see where things flourish and bloom to. And God is in it, which means that I feel safe, which means that even when I mess up, even when this didn't work out, even when I thought this was my path, but found out that maybe I should be over here, like I felt like there was growth in that and it was necessary. And I still feel grateful for that because all of that still factors into the bigger picture. Even when I say I didn't love work back then, that work taught me how to do this work. And so I'm still grateful for, that work. I'm glad that I also got the clarity that that's not for me. That path isn't mine. If that makes sense. So yeah, I feel a lot of freedom. I find I actually like this is also like I guess a little nugget in my work. I also am able to plan self-care trips regularly and connected to work. Like I mean, I make my own money, but I make a decent amount of money to where yeah, I can, it's a part of the kind of work I do. I can build that in and it's very necessary. And I realize how many people don't get to see themselves as valuable enough to experience these things, don't know how to access these things. And so currently where I'm at is I'm creating those kind of experiences. I'll be doing more of those experiences. And so I have one coming up, which I'm super excited for. It's my very first, planned retreat for other people to join me on, but I'll be doing other ones as well. But I mean, the point is, it's like, this is not something I said 5 years ago, 10 years ago, that sort of thing that, oh, Bianca, you're going to do this. Didn't have the vision, but God is in it. And God did. God knows my path. And God was like, this is where I'm sending you to. And because I'm looking for like what that is for myself all the time, what does God want for me? What does He want for my path? What does He want for my family? I'm able to step into those spaces with this kind of confidence of I don't have all the answers, but you put me here for a reason, and so I'm going to do it anyway, and it's going to be fine. And so yeah, but I do think that some things you want to absolutely be able to leave behind as you walk into these places of who do I want to be? Like, do I have support, right? And am I able to like recognize the support that I do have? It might not even always look the way you think it should look, but do I recognize the support I do have? And being able to embrace the unknown, like you want to heal, you want to work on yourself. You want to get rid of the baggage you may be carrying. You want to let go of the pain that other people have put on you. Sometimes we're like, we're still trying to forgive things that happened in our past. And the easiest way for me to understand forgiveness is to say, that's not my pain. I mean, if I got hurt, yes, I own that. But like, if somebody brought that to me, I'm not carrying that for them. Like, somebody else is broken and they're projecting their pain onto me, I'm releasing that. Even if I get hurt by them, like, I'm releasing that because I don't want to carry that for them. I want them to have space to carry that for themselves. I got enough stuff to carry for myself. I don't need to carry theirs too. And so release that, connect, make sure your spirit is solid and there's a foundation and you feel morally guided, spiritually guided. You feel like your values are clear because when you are up against certain situations in certain environments and certain interactions and engagements, you'll be able to lean on those places and say, what should I do? What am I who have I chosen to be and how would that person show up in this space? And as long as you're consistent and clear about that, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. So if this connected to you in any way, please share your feedback. I wholeheartedly thank you so much for joining me today. I told y'all I wasn't going to keep y'all too long, so I hope this wasn't too long. But I also hope this was helpful. If you're finding that somebody is in a place where they're like, what should I do? Maybe send this to them because I feel like you just never know how things reach people. I have been inspired in so many different ways, and yeah, I want you to be able to share this with people who would appreciate this. But like, subscribe, comment, and share. Thank you again for joining the Bianca Williams podcast. It's been a pleasure talking to you on my birthday week in 2025, and I will see you next week. Bye.